All right, guys, let's get ready for our math lesson today. We're actually going to put everything together in one video today. So we're going to start with our mental math. We are going to move on to our math message, and then our math message is going to lead into the beginning of our lesson. We're going to do today's lesson in two parts. So today is going to be a shorter part of the lesson, and then tomorrow we're going to dive a little bit more deeper and into some more things with what we're talking about today. So let's go ahead and get started with our mental math. Some quick facts for us. 5 plus 2. I'm sure you already said the answer. Fast, quick. What do you got for me? 7. You got it. Next one. 7 plus 2. If you said 9, you are correct. And number 3, 6 plus 2. If you said 8, you are correct. And moving on to level 2. All right, here we go. 9 plus 2. Right. If you said 11, you are correct. Next one, 6 plus 3. If you said the sum is 9, you're a rock star. And our last one, 3 plus 8. If you came up with the answer 11, you are correct. And moving on to level 3. Here we go. 9 minus 5. Ooh, some subtraction. 5 plus what is going to give me 9? If you said 4, you found the difference. 7 minus 4. 4 plus what equals 7? Use those addition strategies to help you. If you said 3, you are correct. And 8 minus 5. What plus 5 would give me 8? What is the missing number? If you said 3, you got it. And we are moving on. All right, so I want for you guys to take a look at this base 10 block here. This is our cube. This is our flat. Not our flat. It is made up of lots of flats, but it is our cube, and it is worth 1,000. So I want you to look at that, and I want you to think about what else around you right now, or somewhere in a room near you right now, also looks like our base 10 block here, like this cube. What are some other things that you can spot? Right, so I'm looking around and I can spot some things. If you need a few minutes, you can always pause the video. But I want you to come up with some things that are the same exact shape as this 1,000 base 10 block. All right, so some of the things that I actually see around me or I know are close by are sometimes a tissue box is in the shape of this cube. Sometimes, not sometimes, but all the time, dice are cubes. If you have ice that is in this shape, you can sometimes have an ice cube. Blocks, especially those blocks that younger kids use that have the letters and numbers on them, are in the shape of this cube. I have speakers actually right near my TV that are in the shape of this cube. You might have a box somewhere that is in the shape of this cube. So as you continue through your day, be on the lookout. See what other kinds of cubes you can spot in your everyday life, right? So this is jumping us into what we're going to be talking about today and tomorrow. We are going to be talking about three-dimensional shapes or 3D shapes. So the other day, yesterday and into last week, we were talking about two-dimensional shapes, 2D, flat. Three-dimensional shapes are made up of those two-dimensional shapes. They are made up of those flat shapes, but they are made up of many of them to come together to form a three-dimensional shape, a shape that you could actually pick up. You could hold it in your hand. You could turn it. You could also fill it with something. A three-dimensional shape is made up of several two-dimensional shapes. So the one we're going to focus on today is the cube. So this is an actual cube. This is also a cube, but this one is a little bit easier for us to see the different parts, right? So when you look at this cube, you can see that this cube is made up of one type of 2D shape. What 2D shape is that? Squares, right? It's made up of lots of different squares. And these squares are put together to create this three-dimensional shape, which is a cube. Cube is one of the most common three-dimensional shapes, but there are lots more, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to stick to just this guy today so that we can understand what a three-dimensional shape is and the attributes of it, or the things that we can use to describe it. So this three-dimensional shape has some different parts, just like a two-dimensional shape. A two-dimensional shape has angles, vertices, and sides, excuse me. This one, okay, has what we call faces. A face is what you see right here. This is one face. This square is one face. The vertices is the same thing. It's the point, right, where the lines meet. And instead of calling them sides, because there's so many of them and they come together to form this three-dimensional shape, we call these lines edges. So we're going to work together to figure out how many faces, vertices, and edges this cube has, that every cube has. No matter what it is, if it is a cube, it is going to have the same exact amount of faces, vertices, and edges. So let's go ahead and count the faces. We have to be careful. It's a little bit tricky when it's not in our hand and it's in front of us like this. So I'm going to help you figure out how do we count it when we can't actually hold it in our hand and turn it to see all the faces. So this is one face here. This is 2. The back is 3. This side is 4. The bottom is 5. And the top is 6. They are actually closed off. This would not be open. It would be completely closed. So top, bottom, front, back, left, right. That gives us 6 faces. So we're going to go ahead and put that in here. Okay. Then we have our vertices. That's these corners. So we're going to go through and count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom. So that gives us a total of 8 vertices. And now we're going to count our edges, which are all of these lines. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom. That makes 8. And then we have these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, connecting our top and bottom. So that's 4, 8, 12. We have 12 edges in this cube. All right. So whenever you're looking at a cube, right, whether it is a tiny little thing in your hand, like a 1 cube, or a huge cube, it is going to have 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. That never changes when you're working with a cube. When we explore some of our other shapes, we're going to notice that we have different amount of faces, vertices, and edges, but this will always be true for a cube. 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. So what I have for you today is a really simple sheet, just helping us identify cubes. I'm going to give you a sheet that has all different kinds of three-dimensional shapes, so it's going to kind of expose you to some of the ones we're going to talk about tomorrow. But your goal is to just find the cubes, just so that we can be familiar and understand exactly what a cube looks like and be able to identify it before we move on to all the other three-dimensional shapes we're going to learn tomorrow. So I will put a link to that worksheet right next to the video on our webpage, and I will see you again tomorrow for some more three-dimensional shapes.